Hey everybody, making a video here tonight again while I got some time. This is something that I read about back in February, and I was not going to make a video about this. But since I recently made a video where I tied in the ancient Egyptian god Ptah with the Orion Nebula, I thought, what the heck, I'm going to talk about this. And this directly ties in Hollywood to ancient Egypt, and more specifically, the Oscar awards to the ancient Egyptian god Ptah, who you see pictured here. And that's exactly where we get these statues. It is a depiction of the ancient Egyptian god Ptah, and I'm going to read why. It says, I'm sure most of you are aware of the general history of the Academy Awards of various aspects of it, so I'll spare you the recap and get right to the awesome part, which concerns the coveted golden statue. Perhaps you notice a similarity or two between the Oscar statuette and a certain Egyptian deity named Ptah. Behold. It says there's more than a few, wouldn't you say? This is more than a coincidence. While the statue is supposed to be an Art Deco interpretation of a knight holding a crusader sword on top of a film reel, I find the similarities to be a bit more intriguing. So who is this Ptah, you may ask? In a nutshell, Ptah is more or less the personification of the primordial mound in the Egyptian cosmogony. Ptah is associated with the Jed pillar of hieroglyph fame, and depending on who you talk to, he was the one who called the world or universe into being. And that's a lot what I say when I tie him into the Orion Nebula. It says, because of his association with the creation of the world or universe, he became known as the god of craftsmen and artisans. This was originally applied to stone-based crafts, but eventually branched out to other areas of crafts and professions, including music and art. So much so that craftsmen believed that Ptah held sway over their destinies, especially those who were employed as tomb builders and decorators. Nowadays, Ptah is interpreted as a patron deity of artists and can be seen presiding over the most important event in the acting profession. And what's even more interesting, on this website it says this. In Egypt, there were two major gods in charge of picture making, craftsmen, and artists. The main one was Ptah. The ancient scribes and sculptors who created the best sculptures and pictures of temples were granted a statue of the god Ptah from the Pharaoh himself. So, back in ancient Egypt, they gave away little statues of the god Ptah to the best picture makers, craftsmen, and artists. So, I thought that was very interesting. So, that is your tie-in to Hollywood and ancient Egypt. And here's another picture of Oscar and Ptah. And I tie in Ptah. I believe he was the ancient Egyptians' Orion Nebula god. So the best actors get a statue of Ptah, who represents the Orion Nebula, where stars were born. Hope you thought this was interesting. Have a nice night.